Is this working? I don't know. I think this is recording. Okay. So the they're birds. Okay. So this is our drone simulation, and as you can see, there's two new buttons: add arsonist and add firefighter, and this is part of one of our two extensions where you have the arsonist versus firefighters. So let me just add a couple of those in. And if you observe the arsonists, they will turn red over time. And this is when they're getting closer and closer to creating a fire. And then these drones, you can notice right to the left, when they get close enough to a fire, you'll see they detect the fire. And then now one of them is trying to get to the fire, but is being blown around by the wind. Yes. And you can see how it was flashing red, and it does that when it's going to the fire. And then once it gets to the fire, it shifts from a dark blue to a light blue to display how close it is to killing the fire. And you can see in the notifications, we can, if I slow the simulation down, you have a notification like right here, the fire's detected by a firefighter. It then gets assigned to a firefighter, and right here is when it got close enough to start fighting the fire, and then when it was put out the fire. Yeah, and I'm gonna move on to Owen to explain the wind mechanics.
So, yeah, looking at the wind, we can add a few drones here. And so if we go to drone 1, they're not moving yet. They're stationary because
You gotta schedule a trip.
Yeah, packages have to be scheduled first in order for them to start moving and being affected by wind. That's just to kind of get them looking seeming like they're not in the air yet. But after we schedule a few trips, they should start moving around.
Yeah.
And hopefully the firefighter drones stop.
Slow the simulation down, maybe.
Yeah, do that. And then you'll also start noticing on the sidebar here, it'll show the drone's health every 50 hit points that it loses. It'll send a message to the system. And this drone is being carried off the map because the wind is so strong, but it'll fight back. It'll fight back to get on the sim. And then, yeah, just adding more packages. You can kind of see that it is getting displaced, like it's getting a little bit off its path and having to readjust every time. It's like almost drifting. It's fighting the wind.
So for the fire versus arsonist extension, I used a mediator design pattern. So whenever a fire is created, if an entity wants to detect the fire, it goes to the mediator. And if a drone is assigned the fire, it goes to the mediator. So any entity to fire interaction is through the mediator. And this just helped make sure that every single entity wasn't dependent on the fire. They just had to talk to the mediator.
Mm-hmm. And then for the wind, I used a singleton design pattern just to keep it uniform. And then the decorator on
the drone, yeah.
On the drones keeps track of health and their speed as well, damaging their speed.
And there's a firefighter decorator as well, and an arsonist decorator on the human. And we use the decorator so you could keep the original entity functionality, but we could add on even more behaviors on top.
So the previous drones actually died too, so that's why they weren't on the screen. But
Yeah, when the drones run out of health, we kind of missed it, but they will die and then create a fire where they were at. And they'll also drop the package they were carrying, so then another drone that's available can then keep up, like pick up where that drone was.
yep.
Okay, I think this is good. If this didn't record audio, I'm gonna cry. How do I stop? Do it not record a